Hello, fellow ADC doctors who are going through the Denticon conversion. My name is Dr. Charles Smurthwaite, and I'm doing this just as like an offering to humanity here, because I hated Denticon when I started, but see this, it says 15 reasons why I love Denticon after hating it at first. So I think the people that need to train on this are people that hated Denticon at first, had open dental or Dentrix, and are trying to make this thing work. But weak things can become strong things if you put a little extra effort. So these are 15 things that I found that really rock and roll when it comes to switching over to Denticon. So you'll have this list. I'm sending it on this email, and then I'm going to read through each list and show you, zoom in on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, the first one is zoom feature for imaging. Okay, so if you go over to X-ray, all right, you zoom in, and we have the amazing Britt Randall who's filming us today. But X-ray, if you go in, let me see here, what's going on? Log in. Sometimes you have to log in again. I know all of you love that. I mean, you just love it, right? But you log in because every 2 hours, for your own safety, it gets you out of there so your assistant can't enter stuff under your name. That's why it logs out. Okay? If we go to a chart, all right, and open the chart, and you guys know how to do these things, opening a chart, you go into the X-rays and images, and in Open Dental and Dentrix, Dexis, you were not able to zoom in. I don't know those of you who know this. Now, Dentrix image, a long time ago, you were able to do that, but Dentrix got hostile takeover from Dexis, and they are no longer allowed to do that. But now, I can take an image, and I could press the enhance button. Okay, you guys know how to press the enhance button? You zoom in right there. Enhance button, and you can go to Jazz, and it makes it a lot more clear instantaneously. And I can say, you know what? If I want to zoom in, I can zoom that far, really far, and I could say, if I want to zoom in on a crack or something that we did, let's get one here. Let's say, because when you're zoomed back out, you can't see as well, but you want to really bring it up on the screen in full color for people, and you can zoom as much as you want. That feature alone made me excited the first week of getting Denticon, is zoom, okay? The second one is immediate access to my patient's schedule on the phone wherever I go. So I don't have to show you a picture of that, but if you go on your phone, and your phone, all iPhones at least, will actually hold on to your password, so you don't have to re-enter it every time. You just apply password, and instantaneously have your schedule, your images, everything you want out of Denticon is right there on your phone, which is very important, because how many people get calls over the weekend from a certain person saying, I'm in pain? I say, why are you in pain? I can now look at their X-ray while I'm standing in line at Disneyland. Okay? Number three, I would say that those two features alone are enough to get excited. But let's go on to number three. Number three is one-page look at unfinished notes. If you are in the chart, you have to be in the chart. You can go to reports, okay? You go to interactive reports, unassigned progress notes, okay? Instantaneously, all the notes from all the charts that are on that day come up in an editable screen. So you can press edit, and you don't have to go open and clickety to get to other charts. All the charts are open to you right there, and you can change the note right now or add, like he only put tooth number 7. We were talking about tooth number 7, 8, and 9. So you can just glance at your notes, and in 1 minute you can see all of your notes for the day. Now, I know you guys are having a moment. You're not even believing me. It's almost too good to be true. Am I right? It is too good to be true, because in Dentrix, no way. Open Dental, no way. This alone is worth looking at for an office that's not even in ADC. But Denticon has this, checking your notes while you're in line at Disneyland. I don't know what you want, but man, that is going to save my skin, because I call my patients every night, anybody that I injected, and because that's one of the things we do, but we also have to check our notes. Man, this is so much faster. Because I have my assistants largely type my notes for me. I don't know if I'm the only one that does that, but there it is. There's the screen. You see that? This shows all the patients and whatever notes we have going. See, we're only at 10 o'clock, so there's no notes here yet. I mean, it's only 11 a.m., so this is the rest of the patients on the schedule today. And we'll see if they get a note or not. How great is that? Okay, number 4 is explosion codes, okay? So explosion codes are where you go to the chart, okay? And you're trying to treatment plan. So you go to treatment planning. Let's say that I want a treatment plan, like an extraction and implant on number 8. You just click on number 8, right? And you can go to the ADA codes. And right here, you can have now customizable codes for your office only. Now, our office has our list. That's our favorite 10, 20, 30, whatever it is you got, you can customize that for your office only. And it comes down here. I just go down and I list them. If you look up really closely, you can zoom. Can you zoom in a little more? Can you see the SQDs on there? So SQD 31, 32, 33. And what happens is we make this list in each operatory, and they can go through what's our favorite codes, and each one of these codes could have 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10 different procedures that are hooked to that code, because we always have medicaments, we always have the pre-op appointment, we have all these different things in multi-codes. This is the multi-codes really works well for Denticon. So remember, I was one who was thinking, contemplating trying to bribe ADC to not do Denticon anymore when my first month. I really was, and Dr. Rama will attest to this. But I'm telling you, if you get through the Rockies and you start looking at what you're grateful for, it starts making it worth it. So that's the explosion codes. We talked about the Zoom. We talked about the immediate access to the patient schedule on my phone at Disneyland. We talked about one look at unfinished notes for the day and explosion codes, copy and paste appointments. This is something I do not remember from the other. They may have had some version of it, but if you want to copy and paste appointment, like right here, you have a doctor meeting, you want to put it on 6 columns at once. I can right click and copy, all right? And then I can click right here, right click, paste, boom. And we have whatever appointment I had, it will put it right there for me, okay? So, and it makes it nice when you're trying to block. You can take a 4-hour appointment and block it down, so you block yourself out if you're trying to go on a date with your wife sometime. You should probably do that more often. Number 6 is tooth history. This is another thing. This is another thing that is no part of open dental. Those of you in open dental, I feel bad for you. You need to switch. But check this out, okay? You go to a chart right here and say, okay, what's the history? You click on any tooth, like this, and then there's a little thing right here. You can zoom in. You see that? It says tooth history. Whatever happened on this tooth? Did we ever work on it? What date? How many years ago? It's all right here. It shows the date and the time when we worked on that tooth. Okay, click any tooth. It'll tell what's that tooth been through. Was it an extraction in our office, or what happened? So tooth history, another wonderful thing without having to look through Ledger or without having to look through progress notes. Okay. Next thing is PIF green. How many times you get an operatory and you're like, this is a phased treatment plan. You have someone that came with 5 missing teeth. You're going to have to do bone grafting, sinus liftings, implants, implant bridges. I mean, it's not a one visit thing. It takes like 6 visits, and sometimes, many times, they won't pay all at once. They're going to pay for the first phase, then the next phase, the next phase. So many times people will come into the room and I'm like, I have to look at my assistant and say, how much have they paid for today? We're doing a bridge today. They paid for the last bridge. Have they paid for this bridge? And they're like, they take off their gloves. They walk out of the room to the front desk to ask. Now we have a communication system that's different than that. You just go to the treatment plan, and everything that is in green is paid for. Now this particular patient doesn't have anything paid for. I didn't plan in advance, but this is made so that there's a communication method between the front office and the back office. The front office can tell the back office, hey, these things are paid for, these things are not. Everything that's green has been paid for. Go ahead and do it. I know you like that. So, PIF green. Number 8, upcoming appointments in the pop-up. So this is another thing that was not the case. I did not like looking for where their next appointment was all over here. The fact that I can click on appointment and right down here at the bottom, it says upcoming appointments is beautiful. May 23rd, we know they're coming in. Where do they come in for? Hygiene. I need to know that because in our office, the people, and it should be in your offices, that the people are not allowed to leave without an explanation for when their next hygiene visit is or what their next visit is. We need to know what the next visit is before the doctor walks out of the room. I know you guys are running around. But it's nice that you can click and see the next visit just on one click. One click for the next visit, and all the next visits scheduled is really nice. Labeling of pictures with drag and drop. This is another thing. When you go and take pictures, I don't know if I'll be able to demonstrate it without my intraoral camera here in my room. But the key here is when you go to a chart and you go to the X-rays images or the intraoral camera images, a big time-consuming thing for us in Open Dental was taking 12 pictures on a new patient and saying, okay, I'm going to come back. I want you to label all those pictures. They would have to write down on a napkin in order, tooth number 2, 4, 4, 4, 12, 14, 19, 19, and make sure they knew which one was which, and then they have to go back and look at it. It takes time. This, when they go to take pictures, it has this drag and drop feature, which I'm sorry I can't demonstrate it right now, but basically they put an FMX up there, and if you're taking all the pictures on the lower left, go in the lower left, and instantaneously you can identify. So they just drag, and basically they can have 15 pictures within 20 seconds. They put the pictures where they go in relatively spatially in the mouth, and they're automatically labeled. Now I know those of you who have Open Dental like, oh dang, yeah, we want that. Tooth watches. The thing about tooth watches is if you have a watch, which this chart doesn't have one, let's look at another patient here. Almost all of my patients have watches, meaning we're watching teeth that aren't necessarily, that are starting to have a little bit of staining but zero decay whatsoever. We're just, we're being very conservative about this. Go to the chart, and if I look in the chart, it'll have, this one doesn't have watches either. Come on. If you hover over the watch, let's see here. It will basically give you a narrative just by hovering over the little arrow. Now, in the past, in order to do that, come on, how do you put a watch on a tooth? There it is, right here. If I go like this, now you're pre-existing, and I click on the tooth, it says watch, okay? I put an arrow here. I can put the arrow anywhere I want. Let's say I want it on the mesial or distal. Let's say I want it on the mesial, put it like that, and then I put down a reason, suspicious, right? And I can delete this afterwards. I save it. And if I hover over it, it'll say right there. And I can type a whole paragraph. So watches, again, is something that you can move this anywhere you want. See this? Anywhere you want, and boom. You put it on the root, you can put it on the apex for periapical radiolucency. That is something that is super fast. The watching of teeth, and basically the clinical benefit of that is enormous, because you're talking about teeth, and what happens is you forget what you said, and not all of it gets typed out in the notes by the hygienist. But if you put a watch on there and say, please put on the watch that we talked about, this is a periapical radiolucency, but zero symptoms, and it might just be a healing place after the implant, after the root canal, because they got the root canal done 2 months ago, so it's not really pathological. They're not going to say all that, but you can say just some amount of it, and that's their narrative on that watch. Okay, draw mode. This kind of tripped me out. See this little draw? Now, it's really helpful for a person to actually have something visual to see. So if I want to put an implant in here, which I never would put an implant on a wisdom tooth, but you can draw things across that. You draw it wherever you want on the chart while you're talking to the people, and then you just undo and undo and undo. Okay, so it's a pretty functional draw tool, just right there in the restorative chart, and you can save it or cancel it. Okay, go back. But that's the draw. The draw mode is really great. Select all box to delete treatment plan. So if I'm in a treatment plan, man, I really like this. The treatment plan oftentimes has all these frivolous extra things that are kind of a pain to delete in Open Dental. I know that they are, because I've had Open Dental and Dentrix. But you just click this one box, just like Gmail. You click them all and delete them all. So fast, so easy. The click all box is really nice. Did you see that here up here? This thing is here. Boom, click it all, right there. That is in the treatment planning tab. Okay. So then we have Control R for refresh. Oftentimes, people's chart to be open in 3 different computers, and we don't know what's going on. So you just press Control R, and all of a sudden, boom, anything that's going on the internet gets put to your computer. You don't have to walk or have it be. I've had it be where people are entering notes at the same time. It's kind of like Google Docs because it's cloud based, and so it updates all the time what people's going. So Control R is a really fast way to refresh your screen. The compare tool. Oh man, this is so important. The compare tool makes it so any x-ray or image that you've taken, you just click a couple of them and you press the select button here. Okay, so let's see if I want to have a couple images, and I'll go, okay, I press select right there, okay, and then I click 2 images. Usually I'll click the before and then the after, and I go to compare, this little compare thing on the right, and it puts them both on the screen at the same time. I can enlarge them or do whatever, and I can show before and after. Especially, I do that every single day with all fillings. We show decay, and then we show the filling done. And then number 15, there's many, many more, but I'm just throwing 15 to actually stimulate your positive mind. Those of you who are struggling to go through the transition to Denticon, multiple spots on filling grid on the chart. So this is if you're going to treatment plan, okay, you have these little spots right here. On tooth number 3, if you zoom in, you can see there's 6 spots. But if you click, you can click that, then you can click on number 2, then you can click 30, and then all these different spots, and then you press fillings, and you can do a lot of fillings at once. Instead of trying to keep track or type out like DO, MO, MOD, OL, you just click all the spots, and then you can go treatment plan. And if you're like, I don't like that, I want to clear all my selections. Clear selection is another great thing. So that's 15 positive things about Denticon for those of us that are trying to adapt. I was in Open Dental and Dentrix. I really hated it when I went to Denticon, but now, last month, we did 530,000, our best month in 3 years, with Denticon. With all the things about Denticon. So I know that it can happen, and I hope you guys have a great transition.